Out now, the first issue of the new Sky Sports magazine. Tyson, Ferguson, Lomu, Dalglish, Atherton. The new Sky Sports magazine, available now. $2.25 from all good newsagents.
Sport on Sky in November. A non-stop feast of live action. Football, the World Cup, Georgia versus England. The FA Cup first round. The Coca-Cola Cup fourth round. The Scottish Coca-Cola Cup final. Stirring derby action. Arsenal v Spurs. Celtic v Rangers. Newcastle v Middlesbrough. Golf, the Grand Slam, the World Cup, the Sun City $1 Million Challenge. And on November the 9th, one of the biggest sporting nights in television history, featuring 6 world title fights. On Sky Sports 2, the Ben rematch. Prince Nassim against the undefeated Argentinian Remigio Molina. Then on Sky Box Office, the pay-per-view event with 3 world heavyweight title fights, including Britain's own heavyweight champion of the world, Henry Akinwanda. And the big one, Tyson v Holyfield. Unprecedented live sporting action for November on Sky Sports.
This is Sky Sports 1.
A thirst for action.
Poleaxed by Shearer, Allen's double fires England to a fight-back win at Wembley.
2 from veteran Cascarino helped shoot Ireland to the top of their group.
And World Cup fast, will Scotland claim victory after Estonia failed to show?
In the Sports Centre, Dominic Hollier and Gabby Yorath.
Hello, football may have been back home again, but the Three Lions didn't exactly roar. More on a nervous night for England coming right up.
We have more on Scotland's bizarre game in Estonia, which lasted all of 3 seconds, and news of a Ryder Cup warning from Seve Ballesteros to Nick Faldo.
But first to the group results and tables involving the British and Irish sides in World Cup action. And starting in England's group, if you didn't see the match earlier on, a bit of a fright against the Poles. They took the lead through Marek Chico early on. Alan Shearer hit back twice for England, though. Both goals in the first half, and England hung on to that 2-1 scoreline. We'll have the highlights of that match a little later on the Sports Centre. Also in Group 2, Italy beat Georgia, but only just by a goal to nil. Fabrizio Ravanelli, the scorer, which means the Group 2 table looks like that. England and Italy with maximum points, the others yet to get off the mark.
And in Group 4, Belarus 1, Latvia 1. The Estonia-Scotland match, of course, abandoned after 3 seconds. We'll have more on that story later. And Sweden 0, Austria 1. Surprise result there, the Swedes going down at home, which means in terms of the table, Scotland not really affected because that game today, of course, not counted. They're still in second place.
So in Group 8, Romania beating Iceland by 4 goals to nil. One of those from Romania from Chelsea's Dan Petrescu. Lithuania beat Liechtenstein by 2 goals to 1. And the Republic of Ireland beat Macedonia by 3 goals to nil. A couple there for the recalled veteran Tony Cascarino, who was surprised even to be playing for the Republic. One also for Jason McAteer, his first international goal.
And in Wales' Group 7.
The Group 8 table. Gabby starts. Looks like that with the Republic of Ireland, Romania and Lithuania all with 6 points.
Now time for Group 7, just one result. San Marino 0, Belgium 3. It is, of course, Wales' group, and at the moment they're still on top, but on goal difference only, it's looking a lot tighter.
So Group 9, Albania 0, Portugal 3, and Armenia 1, Germany 5. This is Northern Ireland's group, by the way. And that's how the table looks, with the Ukraine on top and Northern Ireland second from the bottom.
Now more on Scotland, and the SFA say they will give their players caps for the aborted match, but the Scots will have to wait until November the 7th to find out if FIFA will award the points or call for a replay. They took the field shortly before the 3 o'clock kick-off after FIFA had brought the game forward by nearly 4 hours, following Scottish complaints about poor floodlighting. Estonia failed to turn up, and 3 seconds after Scotland kicked off, the referee abandoned the tie. The Estonians say the lighting was perfectly adequate, and with their squad 60 miles away, couldn't have made it there in time anyway. The Scotland team flew back into Glasgow Airport, saying that they expected the Estonians to show up at the very last minute.
Well, obviously there's great disappointment that we didn't get a game of international football, and I think most of the players are a bit frustrated. We don't like to come away under those circumstances, but they were a bit bizarre, there's no question about that. And I think that possibly the Estonians were let down by the fact that the coach didn't bring the team. And I mean the playing coach, not the bus coach, because the General Secretary was there, the President and the Vice President were there also, so they seemed to be waiting on the arrival of the team. And for some reason the team didn't appear, and I suspect that the coach said we're not playing, you know, and therefore he's put his country in a bit of difficulty.
The Estonians are actually saying that.
Bizarre stuff. Now to news away from the World Cup, and Sheffield Wednesday are on the verge of buying Inter Milan striker Benito Carbone for £3 million. The Italian club say a general agreement has been reached with Wednesday, and the 25-year-old player should sign in the next few days.
Celtic insist they will settle their contract dispute with Dutch striker Pierre van Hooijdonk. He had cleared the air talks with manager Tommy Burns and has been allowed to resume training with the first-team squad. Last week he was forced to join up with the reserves after Celtic claimed he demanded a pay rise, a claim the Dutchman denied.
Southampton have received a work permit for their Israeli international midfielder Eyal Berkowitz. The 24-year-old, signed for £1 million from Maccabi Haifa, will make his debut in Sunday's match against Coventry.
Aston Villa midfielder Mark Draper has been banned for one match. The suspension follows his sending off against Newcastle last week for 2 bookable offences, and it means Draper will have to sit out Villa's home game against Leeds in 10 days' time. Wolves midfielder Darren Ferguson has been handed a 3-match ban. That's after he was given a red card for lashing out at Bolton's Michael Johansson. Ferguson will now miss the games against Port Vale, Manchester City and Huddersfield.
Now, Birmingham City fans must be wondering what happened to all that pre-season optimism. The return of the prodigal son, Trevor Francis, big-name signings, and yet after 9 games, they're at the wrong end of the table. Robert McCaffrey went along to Huddersfield, where things just went from bad to worse.
They've got the blues. Even though they're players of quality and experience, there's an edginess at Birmingham. It hasn't been the new beginning Trevor Francis had hoped for. Owner David Sullivan took his seat in the director's box. Yet there are mutterings about the direction and future of the club. It's a heady cocktail, and it's still strange to see Steve Bruce in another side, still putting himself on the line for the cause. Nobody takes defeat as personally as Bruce, because in terms of effort and in terms of commitment, his contribution is second to none. Bruce was powerless as Huddersfield rattled in 3 first-half goals without reply. Rob Edwards just getting ahead of the Birmingham captain to fire in a cracker to set Huddersfield on their way. It was a victory that took the home side into 7th place, with Birmingham still 1 off the bottom. Marcus Stewart heading in from the corner right under the keeper's nose, the kind of thing that means frustration for any football manager. Ryan Horton's always been a fighter, a great motivator, and his side killed off Birmingham with a third from substitute Paul Dalton right on half-time, leaving Steve Bruce and Birmingham defeated and also silent after the game. Horton, meanwhile, was delighted.
Great performance. Very good.
Delighted, you played well.
We took all our chances first half, didn't we? Every chance that fell, we took it. It's good.
Are you disappointed with them? They think they've
Nothing to do with me. I'm only concerned about Huddersfield. Do some good football. They played some good football. Well done, Raf. But we punished them, didn't we, with the finishing first half. Had a couple of good opportunities second half as well. Good win for us.
Robert McCaffrey, Sky Sports at the McAlpine Stadium.
So that win sees Huddersfield move up to 7th in Division 1, and they've got games in hand over the 3 teams immediately above them. At the other end, Birmingham remain in the bottom 3, although they too have games in hand on a number of their rivals.
In Division 2, Wrexham and Notts County are more optimistic about their futures following the only other nationwide matches on Tuesday. Wrexham have got into the playoff zone, while County are now well out of the bottom 3. Phil Edwards has the details.